So you
Yes, in Germany. Yes, exactly.
amazing. Are you from there or where are you from?
I mean, I'm from Germany, yes, but not from Berlin. I'm from a small town called Braunschweig. I'm not expecting you to know where that is. It's in Lower Saxony.
Cool.
And that's where I basically came from. But then, via a little U-turn via Hamburg, where I studied, I ended up in Berlin, like so many people here,
Amazing. So how long have you been there?
since 2005.
Wow, amazing. I was just talking to Desiree. Do you know the artist Desiree?
Yeah, of course. Yes, I know her.
Yeah, she just moved to Berlin, and I was asking her why, and she was saying the government does a lot to support artists. Like, there's like a lot of grants and healthcare and things like that. That she just felt like it was
Exactly.
a supportive place for her, which is so cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. You get support for your health insurance. There's a company called KSK that basically you are basically like an employee there so that they pay part into your pension, because if you're self-employed here in Germany, you have your health insurance, and that's a must here anyways, but you don't pay into your pension if you don't have a private pension fund. And with the KSK, they kind of take this part over like an employer. And yeah,
Whoa.
this is definitely amazing to have.
That is remarkable. God, that's man. We do not do it that way out here in the
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah, it's slightly different over there. Also, you can apply for fundings. For example, I had an EP on Monaberry. That was my first EP. And I actually applied for funding to record this EP, to write it, to work with producers, and to rent the studio and all the equipment I needed, the artwork. So that was actually pretty amazing.
And they covered that?
Hmm.
Wow, that is incredible. Oh,
Yes,
it's
yes,
beautiful.
definitely.
That's really cool to hear that there are communities out there, governments out there that do that and care about that. That's wonderful. So
Yes.
I saw that you had a talking point about social media. So how do you feel about it? Do you think that it is a necessary evil, or do you enjoy it? Or do you think it's necessary at all, or just evil?
It's I think it's a love-hate relationship like so
Yeah.
many of us have. I mean, of course, it definitely is an advantage to be able to create your own little universe, to have your platform where you can decide what content you post or what you want to show from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is great to have this because before the internet, you were always dependent on, well, I mean, we did not even have it that way. Only the stars had it, right? In television and radio. And like this, everybody can be literally their own little film producer or radio host, or you can even do like um, Q&A sessions. You don't need anyone but yourself and the internet, or like a platform like Instagram. So I
Yeah.
really like that.
Yeah.
You can keep in touch with your fans, with your friends. This is amazing. But I think in nowadays it kind of turned a little bit because they're expecting so much content from you, which you sometimes cannot deliver, especially when you're artists. You would like to, like, I would like to focus more on doing my music, playing my
Mm-hmm.
shows, maybe post content from time to time. And it starts to stress me out sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because I'm also maybe not the best content creator. Maybe that's not my strong suit. And
Oh my God,
also, if you
totally.
want to create amazing content, means sometimes, unless you're super creative and resourceful, you need maybe some money for it. And not everybody
Mm-hmm.
has that. So it can put lots of pressure on you. Not only that, also when you sometimes, I mean, that's what we do. We humans compare ourselves sometimes to other
Mm-hmm.
people, and then you might think like, "Oh, this person, it's so they have it so good. The
Yeah.
career is going
They're
so
so
well,"
happy.
and
Yeah, totally. And they
you
probably don't feel
know,
that way. Yeah, it's so fun. I read a really funny meme that was like being a musician in the 70s, and it was um, like 10% music, 90% sex, drugs, rock and roll, and being a
right,
musician current day, 10% music, 90% Instagram content. And like, it's
right.
just like so. Yeah, I do feel like the amount of time I spend on that is just every time I do it, I'm just like, there's such better use of my time than this. But like people, promoters look at that, and book it. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
tool that you have to sort of keep up. And I just, man, I personally think it's such a time suck and a soul suck a bit too.
Definitely time suck and soul suck. And at the moment, I keep it a little bit on the down low because, yeah, I was taking care of different things and I just wanted to ease my mind a little bit, maybe find a better strategy how to do it, time it better, because in the end, it's all time management. How can I make it
Yep.
more
Yep.
effective? And also at a certain time of the day in the evening, I stop looking into it. I need a
Oh, so
cut
good.
because
So
with
smart.
with with our work life anyway, I mean, we don't have a work life like 9 to 8. Sometimes in the evening you sit in front of the computer because maybe you work on a track after you already had a day doing something else, and then it's 2 a.m. and I don't want to spend my time at 2 a.m. then scrolling through Instagram.
Totally.
So I really try to say, like, let's say whatever, 8 p.m., 7 p.m., 10 p.m., depends. This is it. I'm gonna check in tomorrow. Of course, I
I
don't have
think
my notifications on, and I really try also to move some DM conversations to email or WhatsApp. Depends how close I am with the people. It's too many channels, and yeah, I really try to
totally.
manage it better. It's, I think,
I
better
think
for
those
the
are
health.
great boundaries. Really good boundaries right
Yes.
there. I want to cut off too.
Yeah.
Um,
But I still love it,
so
of course. I love to
yeah, I
also
mean
to
that's
watch
right. It's
stories,
fun.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fun,
totally.
definitely, and to use it. So I think
Yeah.
the most important thing is to find a good balance, to find a good middle ground,
Mm,
and also not let yourself suck into it too much. It's great to have it. It's definitely an important tool, but it's also not everything.
totally. Totally. Absolutely. Yeah, I get served some amazing animal videos that always make me laugh and like feel calm.
Oh
So
my, oh my
I'm
God.
grateful
I
for
can
that.
I can go down the rabbit hole with the videos, the memes. I'm
True.
laughing sometimes so hard when I'm down. So I'm
Yeah.
like wasting my
Yeah.
time sending all my
Totally.
friends, the memes, and it's just too much fun. Yeah,
It's a
definitely.
great in that way. Yeah, it's like a good way to just turn your brain off.
Right. Yes.
So there has been some commercial. There's definitely been commercialization of Afro house music.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
I feel a bit weird when I go to see a set and it's two white dudes playing that music, and I even wonder if I can play songs that have aspects of Afro house or if that's exploitation. What is your perspective on that? What are there any pros to it becoming a more popular genre? I mean, I think that's the cons are obvious, but just feel like would love your your insight into that.
hmm I mean, it's definitely a sensitive topic, especially, of course, in the Black community. So
Yeah.
for me, of course, everybody can play Afro house. It doesn't matter which skin color you have. Music is for everyone, and for me, music is there to be shared. Cross-cultural. It doesn't matter where you come from, first of all. And the problem is at the moment that, like with everything, you have something emerging from usually a subculture and or for different cultures it was their own thing, and then it starts to become popular, and then it kind of merges into the mainstream. This is totally normal. It happens with any type of music. Afro house is getting yeah, from in my opinion, a little poppy touch, pop vibe in that sense. And the problem is that sometimes people forget where the roots are, where it's actually coming from, and the original creators are left behind. And then sometimes when they start to create something, they cannot draw from the benefits anymore because they're not the
Mm,
people who actually get booked. It's other people who get booked.
mm,
So I wish I knew the remedy how to make it um, more, how you say this, my English sometimes, especially when my brain is
it's
so
great.
tired like today,
I
to make
get it.
it to
Make it
distribute it
more,
more evenly,
yeah,
between that
equitable.
would be amazing. But it's, I mean,
I mean,
there
do
are
you think
some,
do you think the
yeah,
onus
please.
is on the people who have maybe it's not their background or their culture, but they have found success in that genre? Do you feel like the onus is on those people to call out and name where their influences are and
Yes,
let their fan base
exactly.
know where this music actually has come from and the originators of this music and um,
Yes.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
a very
that's the
good point.
least.
Yeah, it's very valuable because they can educate the people. No, of course,
Yeah,
you don't know where something is coming from. And of course, some fans, maybe they do their homework and start to research. I think, oh, that's great. They look more into it, but we cannot expect that. So I think
completely.
we as a musician and as a DJ producer, we have to take over the role and show where the code is coming from, to teach
Yeah.
them, to show them this is actually
Yeah.
other artists who play this type of music, so they get more in tune with that. And otherwise, if let's say only a certain bubble plays it, yeah, the perception changes. And also, like the original Afro House, I mean, sometimes when you play this, they say like, "Oh, that's not Afro House," and I'm like, "No, no, this is Afro House." And they're like, "No, that's techno." I was really playing, I don't know which CD that was. I forgot, but I was playing at an event, and then I got some messages. Oh my God, I haven't been at a proper techno party in such a long time. That was amazing. And I was like, "No, I did not play techno. I played Afro house. I mean, it was Afro tech. It was more like more with
Yeah.
synths, maybe less percussive, very
Yeah.
strong. It was nighttime, it was a good deep vibe. And I was like, wow, they don't see this as Afro house. Their
Wow.
perception is differently
Yeah.
because something else is taking over, and this is what they hear and what they see. So they
Mm.
think that's Afro house. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that the people who are playing that like need to sort of cite their sources, the ones who are especially having success. I think with more success you have more responsibility, and that's not a bad thing. So yeah,
It
I
is,
definitely
but
agree.
also the platforms who sell the music. I mean, you
Yeah.
have the power also maybe to start to distinguish it in different subgenres, to
Mm.
make it more obvious that this is maybe a new, yeah, that it derives from a source, but it kind of changes into something different, which is
Yeah.
totally value. It has a right to be there. There's
It's a totally
no
fair point.
you cannot say like, okay, this doesn't have a value, this has to go
Yeah.
away. No, of course, something else develops and it's great. We need that. It's
Totally.
like an evolution. It's the
Yeah.
same with house music. I mean, look how
Yeah.
many different subgenres we have in house today, and all of them are great for themselves.
Totally.
And the same
Totally.
as Afro House. It's starting, which is amazing to grow. It was like a little plant, a little tree, and now has this branch, it has this branch with this little trees, the leaves here, and that little
Yeah.
leaves. So now you have
Really
your little
strong roots.
communities.
Yeah.
So I actually
Yeah.
like that. I just wish that we could distribute the water more evenly to the roots
Yeah.
so that everybody has
Mm.
something of it. And yeah,
Well said.
so it's yeah, it also starts in the community itself, because even if it comes from a certain community, sometimes they don't have the resources to maybe go places where other people can.
Totally.
And
I
then
know.
you have
Yeah.
the visa issues. People
Yeah.
who are living in South Africa, sometimes they just cannot come just like that and play somewhere.
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
compared to someone in Europe. So
Yeah.
the little
I know.
different
Yeah.
issues which make it a
Yeah. The
whole.
people who are able to spread the gospel need to be pointing towards the roots. I think. Yeah.
Exactly,
Um.
exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm going to read your blurb and ask you a few questions, and so this part will be
Oh,
on the radio show.
oh, nice.
Um.
Let me put my amp. But okay, good.
You are listening to Femme House Radio with your host LP Giobbi, and this week we have DJ producer Jamie. Hailing from Berlin, her dynamic and energetic sets transcend traditional genre boundaries fused with rich melodies and polyrhythmic beats pointing towards Africa. The German Nigerian artist has played at prolific clubs and festivals around the world, including Ultra Music Festival, Tomorrowland, and High Ibiza, to name a few. She is also a resident DJ at Berlin's Watergate Club. Jamie has released her own productions on such labels as Monaberry, My Other Side of the Moon, and Watergate Records. Jamie, welcome to Femme House Radio. Tell us your origin story. How did you get into DJing and producing?
Hello, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be on your show. It's an
Yay!
honor. So, as you already introduced me, I am German Nigerian. My father was Nigerian. My mom is German. I am born in Germany. And yeah, my career started really by coincidence. I was already mid-30s. I'm 44 now. And I was sitting in the living room with three girlfriends of mine. One was just coming from Ghana, where she learned to DJ. One was going to Cape Town because that's where she spent her winters. And we decided just to throw a party, like from us, friends, for our friends, just music we like. And we had a friend who was running a little private club you could rent. So we rented it and invited all our network, played only music we liked. And this was the best party in ages. People are still talking about it, yeah, more than a
Wow.
decade later. And we did it three times. And out of this, actually, I thought like I like it. I like to select music. I could not DJ before. I was just pressing start and stop. And so my friend Pam, she told me like, okay, come on, Jamie, it's time for you to buy some equipment and that you learn to DJ. And I was like, okay, you're actually right. So I bought it, like a little Newmark controller, and I was sitting at home and started to learn how to mix. And that was the starting point.
That is
Just like that.
incredible. I love that. I
Yeah,
love that you built your own first opportunity. That's how you do it. I love that. Um,
exactly.
I've been so excited to talk to you about being a mother and doing this career.
Thank
I want
you.
to be a mother one day, and I have a lot of fear around being able to do this career well and be the kind of mother that I want to be. And how do you do it? How do you balance it? I mean, I'm sure that it's hard and challenging, but it's so important for other artists out there to see you represented in motherhood and doing what you do. And I'm just so curious to learn everything I can from your process.
To be honest, sometimes I don't know how I do it, really.
I bet.
Sometimes I have so many things to juggle, but I mean, it always works somehow, of course. When you have a little child, then definitely you need a partner or a good support system, because when your child is a baby, a little child, toddler, whatever, you don't want to be maybe often away from your child, or maybe you simply can't because you don't have
Mm-hmm.
nobody to take care of. Especially
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm a single mother, so when my daughter was little, I was basically just being a mother, raising her by myself, and work a 9 to 5 job to take care of
So
ourselves.
impressive.
And then, I mean, I always loved music. I did something in between. My first productions I did with GarageBand on my Mac
Yes.
back then. It was not, I mean, it was a little bit electronic, but also a little bit kind of grungy, indie type of vibe.
Cool.
And I just did it when my daughter was sleeping at home as a hobby. And then it took, like I said, a couple of years. I think she was 6 back then, right? Where we started to do our own parties. And then, I mean, it was like what, once a year, so that was still okay. And then she got older and older, and the older she got, the more freedom I gained back,
Mm.
because when your child is 10, maybe you can go out for whatever, 3 hours and leave your child
Mm-hmm.
alone. And
Mm-hmm.
the older your child gets, the more freedom you get back. And then I had the opportunities, and then I just built it little from scratch. And now, um, she is 16, she's turning 17, and we're like a super good team. So basically, you have to try to still live your life, because I'm an individual person, but I'm also a mother, so I have this responsibility. So it's always like a balancing act. And I was very lucky to have good friends, so I built a very good support system. And then in the very beginning, when she was like 10, 11, 12, when I really started to have like our gigs outside of Berlin, I had friends who were taking care of her. She slept sometimes
Wow.
at my sister's place because she just
Cool.
moved then to Berlin. And so, yeah, I had this good support system. And I have a daughter who's very understanding. And now with 17, even she sometimes gives me company, and she
does
encouraged,
she like does she like your music? Does she like dance music?
she does not like the music that much, but she loves to travel. So she's just traveling
Okay,
with me, but she's
amazing.
not coming to the gigs. So whenever it's the
Wow.
weekend or she has vacation, I can take her with me, which is awesome. I can share what I see from the world, because sometimes
Yeah.
I see great places and all I can think of is her. Like, oh, I wish she could see that. And I call
Yeah.
her with FaceTime and like show her everything.
That's incredible.
So basically, I think you really have to try to take the right that you're your own person, and you continue to follow your own dreams,
Mm.
and
Oh, I
still
love
try to
that.
find to make the time for your child, of course,
Yeah.
to
That
take
is
care
really,
of
really
it.
beautiful.
But
My mom was the only example I have as a mother. She worked part time and then was, head of PTA and at everything and like was always there and like there to make us sandwiches when we got home from school. And I'm just like, this is not going to be the kind of mother I am, if I continue this career. So what are the other ways I can show love and make sure that my kid feels loved like I did, and that sometimes I struggle with that dichotomy, but it's really cool to
yeah,
hear your perspective on that, and
yeah, it's
it's
possible. I mean,
inspiring.
she was always open. I always took her outside with me, meeting friends, being outside in
Mm.
the summer times. We
Mm-hmm.
went, yeah.
I think that's
to
beautiful.
restaurants together, and she was just like sitting there at the side doing her thing, and I could still kind of live my life, but of course I had to pay lots of sacrifices because there are definitely things I could not do, and I was at home very much, very
Yeah,
often,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, I bet, I bet. That makes sense. As they get older, there's a little bit more freedom for both of you. Um,
Yes.
okay, final question. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? What are some of your future goals?
So my future goals are definitely one day I'm also dreaming like maybe many other artists to create my own label, which is then of course focused definitely on supporting women and also minorities. I want to create a platform where people maybe can voice themselves better. Maybe it will be little boutique label, maybe little independent label. I have a friend,
Awesome.
she's also DJ, singer and producer, and we are thinking about maybe launching something together. So the idea is cooking. We are planting the seeds. So let's go where we're heading from there. And then, of course, personally, I would like to start to produce more. I would like to, yeah, play more DJ gigs because this is really what I love. I can't believe that I found something which gives me so much
Yeah,
joy, actually, because I love to connect with the people. Um, so yeah,
I
I
hear
see
that.
myself running my own label, having better productions out there. My daughter,
Heck
she's
yeah.
going to finish school soon. She will maybe move away, and then yeah, I will have a different life. And
Yeah.
I'm very curious to get to know myself again,
Mm.
like without that role, which
Mm-hmm.
is at the moment very prominent, but it's like, degrading slowly. So sometimes
Oh,
I'm already a little
wow.
bit sad. I'm
I
like, oh my
bet.
God,
Yeah, bittersweet. Yeah.
she doesn't need me anymore. Sometimes I don't see
I
her
can't.
today.
I can't imagine. Yeah, my mom is my best friend, and I still struggle with, I mean, I am the daughter, but I'm still like, I haven't seen her in days, and that's hard for me.
I,
I get that. So you guys
yeah,
always have that bond. Well, I think those are
yes.
very, very, very goal worthy goals, and I have no doubt that um, you'll make all those happen and more. Thank you so much for being a guest on Femhouse Radio. We are huge fans. I think that what you're doing and what you represent and what you stand for is just so, so important. Thank you for sharing your story. It's really, really deeply inspiring to me, and I know
Thank
to a
you
lot
so
of our
much.
listeners at Femhouse. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story.